Hello, Paulo Leite here, record collector. Today, I have a very special place to show you, Fantasyland Records in Atlanta, Georgia. This is one of my favorite record shops anywhere, and it is insane, delicious, absurd, and you are going to explore it with me today. Let's go inside. Oh, I thought I saw a Beatles record there. Never mind. Okay, the moment you enter, you are greeted with thousands of CDs. Then you look at the space and it's, oh my god, there is so much. How am I going to live through this? This is the main room. It's big and it's filled with albums. Those CDs right there are the new arrivals. But starting with vinyl, right next to the door we have some 70s audiophile records. Some Judy Garland and Liza Minnelli, Stage Fright by The Band, Bridge Over Troubled Water by Simon and Garfunkel. There's a lot of great albums here to discover. Switched on Bach, a great album from 1968 by Walter Carlos, the amazing artist who did the Clockwork Orange music soundtrack. Going over to pop rock music, everything is beautifully organized by alphabetical order, so it is a breeze to look for albums here. Beautiful Roy Ayers from 1979. Enjoy by the Bar-Kays, same year, 1979. By the way, this section of the collection covers the 70s up to the 90s, rock, pop, soul, etc. So, of course I'm gonna find here Roberta Flack and Donny Hathaway. This one from 1980. Donny Hathaway killed himself sadly. He had such a beautiful voice. This Isaac Hayes is from 1970 and it contains a beautiful version of George Harrison's Something, 12 minutes long. This was only possible in the 70s. Oh, Jefferson Airplane, Crown of Creation from 1968, such a great album. And Long John Silver from 1972. And now for something completely different. Grace Jones, Portfolio, 1977, Disco at its peak. I love the disco era. I think this was the last time we had full orchestras in pop music. I know that was not just disco, I know it started much earlier. Yeah, one only has to look at George Martin and the Beatles, Days of Future Past by the Moody Blues, just two examples. But disco signals the very end of it. And when I talked earlier about Isaac Hayes' 12 minutes version of George Harrison's Something, that kind of extravagance reached its peak with Donna Summer's Love to Love You Baby clocking at 16 minutes and 48 seconds, taking the entire A side of the album. It's like the big band era never ended. It evolved into disco. Duke Ellington became Tom Bell. It was indeed a beautiful era with those big orchestras. Then, by 1980-81, it was gone forever. Nile Rodgers talks about this briefly in his book when he talks about their fight with Berry Gordy at Motown during the production of the Diana Ross album produced by Chic. Okay, new vinyl. Oh my god, Fantasyland has tons of it. And here's Duke Ellington. Here we have blues, jazz, the whole shebang. This display has the latest releases and reissues. By the way, I think it's time to organize a shitty pop demolition night, just like they did in 1979. This time, we'll burn Taylor Swift records, anything that's been quantized or recorded with those fake instruments. By the way, here's the UHQR version of Steely Dan's classic Aja from 1977. Boy, this thing is heavy. And here's Black Sabbath's Sabotage from 1975. Oh, here they have those wood crates for sale. Plus, special editions of Nirvana and Green Day. I won't even try to raise those, they're gonna break my arm, and I need to carry those bags when I'm done here. I could easily spend hours here at Fantasyland. So much great music, these guys are the best. Here's a section dedicated to compilations. Then we enter the 50s and 60s rock and pop. Now this is a delicious Batman album from 1966 by, and that's how they are called, the Sensational Guitars of Dan and Dale. However, there are no Dan and Dale. This is a pseudonym by musicians of Sun Ra's Orchestra. They released a string of easy listening albums by Diplomat Records. Sometimes they sign the Sleepwalk Guitars of Dan and Dale. You can't use my name for any of this stuff, alright? 1967. Broken Barricades, Procol Harum, 1971. Beautiful. I think the DBX version has this same cover. Now, the CD section here is massive. But before we get there, let's talk cassettes. Yes, Fantasyland has tons of them. I was never a cassette person myself. I mean, I used to record my own mixtapes to use on my Walkmans, and I used to burn through Walkmans. But I always bought vinyl, never cassettes. This Carly Simon has an extra song not on my vinyl. Damn you, label execs. The movie soundtrack section is quite good, lots of albums. Ice Castles is a beautiful soundtrack. And this is a different version from the Singin' in the Rain that I have. There is a number of surround sound CDs that were released back in the 90s. I think they sounded very good. Okay, pop and rock. Tons of them in alphabetical and decade order. In this room, They only have pop, rock, soul. I do like the prices here. Lots of albums for just $4 or $5. The best stuff will always cost more, but still, there are good CDs at great prices, like this Carole King tribute album from 1995. Some beautiful performances by the Manhattan Transfer, the Bee Gees, Rod Stewart and others. A bargain. Janis Ian, Between the Lines from 1975. Get this album, you'll thank me later. I'm not into live albums, but this one is stellar. Oh, more Roberta Flack and Donny Hathaway. Lots of Bob Dylan. Oh, Minute by Minute, this is a great album by the Doobies, 1978. Great songs. This one is 21 years later. I love the Chi-Lites. Sadly, their original albums on CD are kinda hard to find. Oh, Bach Meets the Beatles by John Bayless, 1984. This is a gorgeous album with Baroque interpretations of Beatles songs. I fell in love with the B-52s in 1985 when they played at the Rock in Rio. Awesome album. Neil Young, After the Gold Rush from 1970. Yes, only love can break your heart. You know, whenever I do these videos, I get drawn to the records and artists I like, and I have this theory that the music you love will be defined when you are very young, because that's the best time in our lives, and as we age, we'll always be looking back to those years and all the fun and beauty of those days. Now let's look at some of Fantasyland's rarities. Here are the audiophile CDs I like. These gold CDs are gorgeous. These Sheffield Lab editions are hard to find, and this Thelma Houston album is a gem. These CD singles are so cute. I love these cases, but they are quite irreplaceable. I'm sure you have noticed the posters inside the shop. Yes, there are many and they are all for sale. Now, if you think this is all of Fantasyland, well, this is just the main room. Over there is the green room, and on the other side is the red room. Let's take a peek into the green room. Now let's take a peek into the red room. To get there, you go through this door. On the next video, we'll be exploring the wonders of those rooms. See you later. Please like the video and subscribe. More great content coming soon. Thank you.